but no one else can say that
No,
outside.
yeah. You're on the team together. It's a little different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so. I'm on. Oh, welcome, family. Welcome to our home. This is the Gets Done podcast. I have a special guest today, one of my own family member here. Um, I have this platform to we're able to bless a lot of people, and also there are three R's that y'all know I go by: is reset, rebuild, reconnect, and that is something that we're going to be able to do today.
There you go.
Again, family, what a blessing to be here. So whatever you're doing, stop, relax, slow down, and pause whatever you're doing. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any great episodes like one today, and share and like to some of the family members that might need to hear this today, because this is going to be a good one. This is going to be a hot one today. So my guest here, I'll let him introduce himself to all of you. Welcome, my man.
What's up, man? What up,
Good to
man?
have you.
My name's DOMIINIC SHEPPERD. My wife is Patricia Laulu, Patricia SHEPPERD now. So I've known the family about half my life. So this is really consider them blood, my brothers, my family. We're here visiting in Hawaii. Trying to reset, like Uncle said, before we go back into the real world and having to work and get busy and stress out. So thanks again for having me at your home. Again, this trip kind of been very therapeutic for me. So we're gonna get to it and have some good conversation.
I was inspired because since they've been here, we've been talking and healing. And like, man, we really need to put this out there. Especially to hear his view from the African American community, the Black community, and also from the Polynesian community. I have a lot of friends that are African American, from football time, and I still close to these guys. So my man, thank you. Like he mentioned, he is married to my niece. Grew up here in Laie, my niece, and I've known this young man forever, and they're here visiting here at our home. So welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, my brother. Welcome, nephew.
Yes, sir.
So share with us where you grew up, man, and how were you raised, and just a little background of where you came from.
Yeah. So born in Washington State, grew up in Tacoma. My family originally from North Carolina, Baltimore area, moved to the West Coast, moved up I-5 through California. We kind of made our marks and stops through the I-5. So made our way up north, stopped in Portland, and then some of us kind of trickled up to Washington, where I kind of grew up. Tacoma, Kent, lived in Seattle for a little bit. So that's where I'm from. I mean, it's just a little different coming from Washington over here.
Yeah.
So I love being on the countryside. You get a whole different feel, whole different perspective of life. You kind of get to see what's really important. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. We want to unpack a lot of things. But first, we were talking earlier. Your mom had you at a very young age.
Yep, mom had me at 16.
At 16? Can you share a little bit, anything you remember, or the upbringing of that?
Yeah. So mom had me at 16. My dad was a year older. My pops wasn't in my life, but my mom and her siblings, my aunties, uncles, I had a really big village as far as them around me. My grandma raised communities as far as having a daycare in Northeast Portland. So we were always around a lot of family, around the neighborhood. And again, mom had me at 16. To me, I don't like to play like the victim all the time, or, play the boohoo story. So again, I could say, it was hard. But at the end of the day, my mom was a phenomenal mom. She made it work. And then the community support that we had around definitely made it seem like I wasn't missing out on anything.
Wow.
It wasn't until I got older where I'm just like, oh yeah, my dad ain't around. And started kind of reflecting more so as a grown man on that type of situation. But yeah, mom had me at a young age, and
How was that? Like you said, that's so important to have a safe space in your home. You had a lot of people around you. You had a lot of love around you. And also, was there a because you mentioned, if you want to talk a little bit about your father not being in your life, how was that for you, not having a father figure in your life?
If I'm being completely honest, it just felt like it is what it is. It kind of felt normal at the time. I had a lot of strong uncles that voiced their
Father
opinion.
figures, yeah,
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 had a lot of women, strong women, voiced their opinion, and they instilled a lot of good values and morals and ethics at a young age. Where, like I said, like it didn't feel like I was missing out on a lot
mm,
until I got older, started getting into sports, and I realized, oh yeah, his dad is here, and that's kind of where I started kind of reflecting and thinking about like how could life been different if I was raised with the father. But again, I don't want to make this about like me being
right,
a victim or
right.
boohoo about it. But yeah,
You know, and especially like that, it's so important to have a like a father figure
mm,
in your life. Also, myself too. Yes, I did have I have a lot of great people around me
mm-hmm,
growing up. I had a father in my life. You know, he passed away. Rest in peace.
yeah,
And also coaches,
yep, yep,
uncles. You know, that were around me that checked us.
yes sir,
Right,
yes
that
sir,
checked us.
yep,
It almost made me, you know, like as we grew up more, and we almost like, oh, he's there, but he's not there. But
mm,
maybe at a young man's age, sometimes we kind of miss that.
yeah, for
Did
sure.
you ever miss that as a like being father? Like,
Yeah, no, I definitely missed it. It didn't hinder me from doing anything. It didn't
mm,
make me feel less of a person or a young man growing into a man. But I know there were certain aspects and attributes that having that type of structure from a father, it would have benefited me in a lot of different ways. But thank God, football saved me in a lot of different ways.
yes, yes, yes,
Just kind of give a little backstory. Started playing football at the Boys and Girls Club in my local community. Growing up in the Hilltop area, Tacoma. Um, the Hilltop area, just kind of the history, it was a little rough, right?
mm,
I have friends grow up in gangs, have friends, just a normal hood story, right?
yeah,
We don't have to really get into it, but just a normal stereotypical inner city kid growing up without kind of that structure. So I thank God to football and sports and that structure and the coaches that I had and those strong
yeah,
males that I had to kind of to see the potential in me and
yeah,
then lead me on to the next level where I played in the high school. And then I went to college and played college football. So again, I think that structure of having strong men and discipline and consistency from sports definitely helped me out with the father figure missing.
yeah. You know, where do you find that from? Where do you get that from? Because some kids can play that role, and some kids do fall into that. Oh, my father wasn't in my life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and was there any anger towards your dad for not being a part of life? Because, you know, like same like in the Polynesia community too, some fathers are not there or
Mm-hmm.
not able.
Mm-hmm.
Depends on their situation
Situation.
at
Yeah,
home,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know. But where did you find that drive to? I'm not gonna let this stop me for become the man I am.
Um, Honestly, I don't want to keep perpetuating the same stereotype as far as saying like
Yeah.
black fathers aren't around because there's plenty of black fathers that are around. We do a very good job,
Yes.
but I would say my mom was just super strong and just driven. Mom had me at a young age. I remember she told me like as I grew up, she's like, yeah, statistically we weren't supposed to make it by the numbers as far as having me at 16. Dad was young. He was about to go off to college. It just didn't work. And I could have sat and had, I could have been mad. I could have said, forget this guy. But looking back, I understand that you got to give grace to people. And with having a family of my own, a family of three, you realize how hard it is to keep your family intact and raise kids and be that kind of motivator for them. So
Mm.
I would just say my mom, she killed it in the workforce. She's worked some of the best jobs that you can possibly get. So she was always an inspiration in that
Yeah.
sense. And like I said, I had other males around me. My
Yeah.
uncle went to the military. All my uncles in Northeast Portland owned real estate, very
Yeah.
opinionated, spoke their mind, said what they meant and meant what they said. So I've always had that confidence to
Mm.
always, walk chin
Yeah.
up, chest out, not in a cocky manner, not
Yeah.
in an arrogant manner, but just never played the victim in that sense.
Yeah.
And my aunt said, they're like, you came into this world with something. And my mom's been asking me that lately too, like, how'd you cope with those type of situations? Honestly, I can't answer because it just felt like
Yeah.
we just got to make it happen. Like I'm the first
That's
boy and I got
yeah.
to be the man of the house essentially. So I just couldn't.
That's crazy. You just asked that because that was going to be my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would you help another young man like seeing yourself, how would you help another 16-year-old boy, maybe might be in the same situation, to overcome maybe some of the struggles you went
Mhm.
through? What would you say that, or how would you help them in that way? Maybe not having their father,
Yeah.
present.
Um, there's always gonna be better days. I'll leave it. I'll leave it right there. There's always gonna
Yeah.
be better days. But as far as the way you can help, I coach middle school football and high school football, and it's always bigger than the game. And you're around these kids, and you see the smile, how they kind of perk up when you come around. They want that validation. They want that, that
Amen.
that stern structure,
Yeah.
that discipline, and they're looking for that. So I would say, for me personally, um, coaching was my way of kind of giving back, because football saved me. Where it's like I easily could have been wrong place, wrong time, bad situation, but from an early age, I knew I was like, all right, I'm a football player, and
Yeah.
I'm pretty good. And then I didn't have that confidence in the beginning until coach was like, you're really good at football. And then that's when I kind of took that step, like, I'm gonna take it serious. So I would say the mentorship for me, and giving back and kind of instilling some of those values, it comes
Awesome.
through sports from me. And that's not the only way you have to do it. There's plenty of ways you can kind of motivate and mentor certain kids. But I know the school that I coach at, it's a heavy Polynesian, heavy Black community on that team. We might have one white kid on our team. So you see it even from the Polynesian community. They need that structure. They need that discipline. They need that brotherhood. And Polynesians already do a good job of that. I think they keep their community intact, and they ride for each other. So, not to be long-winded, I would just say the mentorships comes through sports from my perspective.
And that is so awesome, because I too ran away and found sports of my own situations at home.
Yeah.
What I was dealing with at home too. That was my outlet. And I think that is a lot of, us outlet is through sports.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boys, girls, is that saved us, that saved our life pretty much, And like you said, it doesn't have to be sports. You might love something else. You might go into band or into whatever, RTC, whatever that thing is called. But being active and being around great people and being great friends, it's so helpful.
It is. And I think the simple thing is with kids is being present, just like literally just showing up for them. It means the world to them. Like, I still have kids that ask me after football season, hey, coach, you going to come to my basketball game? Hey, coach, you going to come to my track meet? Coach, can we get some drills in on the weekend? So it's like you see the payoff of them kids really wanting to be around and willing to work, ready to work. And again, it's just another way to kind of mentor kids from that aspect.
That's so awesome, because coaching is a father figure. And I appreciate everyone that coaches. I helped coach at a point in the little league when my boys were young. And like you said, sometimes these kids look forward to coming seeing you. Seeing the coaches, because maybe they don't get that at home.
They don't get that structure. They don't get that discipline.
They don't get that love. It's a different love getting from football or sports. Especially like if a coach like yourself that's been through it, you're able to pass that knowledge onto them. I'm sure you run into that a lot.
And trust me, I made plenty of mistakes on my way. High school, college, even as an athlete, made plenty of mistakes. Where now I can be transparent and get back to that same community that I came from and tell them, like, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, right? And I can give them that. I can give them that blueprint to say, look, I made these mistakes. I can be honest about my mistakes. Look, and I want better for you. Now it's on your end. The ball's in your court. I'm giving you the tools and resources and my story to be like, hey, you could do it. I'm from the same situation, and it's possible, right?
Thank you for sharing that. And that is so amazing to share that as coaching. Like I said, if you're a coach or a teacher or whatever, you're involved with kids, awesome, amazing job, because you are that parent for these kids. Some of them don't get that same structure at homes. We never know. We never know what these kids individually are going through. So we got to be very extra sensitive sometimes, extra loving, extra caring and emotional to these kids, because we never know what they come through. Especially at home.
I think with the word you just said too is just sensitive. It doesn't always have to be the beat down with kids. Like, hey, you got to be like this. You got to do it this way. I think they're already going through some hard stuff. So sometimes they need that vulnerability to be like, hey, like, what's up, man? I know you go, like, what's up? Like, we can talk, right? So again, it's not always about the beat down. It's not always about the discipline, but there is something where you can show as a grown man, like I can be open, I can be transparent, where it kind of opens that space up for other people to talk and kids to kind of open up to you and really speak on truly how they feel.
And I'm so glad you went there. Being transparent, because that's what we need for our kids. As us growing up, as myself in a Polynesian family, in a community, we weren't able to do that.
Yeah.
We didn't have. It's almost we didn't have that voice to share how we feel. I didn't know what is transparent.
Yeah.
I didn't know what is stress. I didn't know what is whatever suicidal. I didn't know
depression.
Anxiety, I didn't know all that. Anxiety. I didn't know what those mean. But we have those, and being in the spot that you're at as coaches, teachers, you get to open that up for them, and they get to allow them to share their feelings.
Yeah.
Have any of the kids? Are you able to share some of that with them?
Yeah, I definitely have. First year coaching, there was a kid that had a family member pass away in Virginia. So he's clear across the country. We're in Washington State. Family died in Virginia. And, he came up to me crying, gave me a hug. And I was kind of taken back at first because, one, it was, oh, he trusts me to come do that.
Yeah.
And it made me feel a certain way where it's like, oh, yeah, it's way bigger than the game. I don't know if he gets that at home. I don't know if he's able to do that, right? So I think, that definitely opened up my eyes to say, like, I'm in it for the kids. I'm in it for the mentorship. I'm in it to, help where I can. And there's been plenty of instances like that. But yeah, I sit back. I let the open door policy, right? You want to talk to them? We can talk about something. What's going on at school?
Yeah.
You dating? But just even stuff outside of sports where you start talking to them and they start to open up like, oh yeah, you're just not my coach. You don't care if I do good or bad on the field. You actually have a true interest in what's going on in my life. So yeah.
And thank you for that. Like I said, to the coaches, teachers, whoever's involved with kids, big ups to you guys, what you guys do, because it does take a lot of patience.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of gut courage to help these young men and young women. I want to reset real quick, brother. How we being transparent?
Yep.
And how is that? Speak from the Black community side, and I'll share from our side too. Yeah. How tough it is to be transparent in the Black community.
Yeah. We all know there's the negative stereotypes that comes from our community. As men, I think, so I'll start this big scope. As men, I think we're supposed to be stoic. We're supposed to be stern, not show emotion, not be sensitive, right? I think that's just the overall scope of like just men in general. Specifically in the Black community, we get that a lot because we're already looked at in a certain light. So you being soft, soft, you crying about stuff, you not being able to, provide whatever it is, at times it's frowned upon, right? And then when you do open up, you don't necessarily get the feedback or maybe the support that is necessary. But in the Black community, growing up, I don't want to generalize, but in the Black community and me growing up, I always felt like if I was to voice my problem to my mom, and I was growing up around a lot of women, that I'm bringing them issues. So I just naturally kept to myself because, like, what am I going to sit here and cry about to these women, right? And I don't want to sound like, the gender, but I just felt like it was like, what am I going to go over there and cry, like, figure it out? So from a young age, I learned how to just process stuff like that. Like,
you just kept it in.
Just figure it out. And just kind of to be a little bit more transparent, I crashed as a grown up because I suppressed for so many years those feelings, not opening up, not knowing that, you can feel nervous. Didn't know it was anxiety, right? You can be a little paranoid in certain situations. And, there's certain incidents that happen in my life where that kind of make me that way anyways. But you don't get the luxury of always being vulnerable. So I think nowadays we're in a better spot as far as speaking in our community and knowing that, there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot, especially with our history of the country. There's a lot of trauma that's happened. And, it's scientifically proven that trauma passes through DNA. So it's a thing to, open up and be transparent, but it's not easy. It's not easy at all.
It's not easy,
It's not easy at all, especially if you've never seen a male do that.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, I've never seen just a guy open up and be like, hey, I'm feeling this way or I'm
Yeah.
feeling that way, you know? So yeah.
And thank you for sharing that. Same with our community too, our Polynesian culture, and I speak from experience. Same like how you said growing up.
Mhm.
We feel like we don't really have that voice. We suppress everything, and then all of a sudden, boom, we snap,
Yeah, hit a wall. You hit a wall.
and boom,
Yeah.
we just blow up, and then we're like, where did that come from?
Exactly. Like literally, like, where did that come from?
Where
Like,
did that
yeah.
anger? Where did that
Yeah.
anger
Yeah.
come from?
Yep.
Because we hold stuff so much that
It got to come out. It
yeah,
has to come out in some way.
and what I found out too. Like some of the toughest people to talk to is your own people.
For sure.
Is your
Yeah.
own little circle.
Yep.
The closest people to you.
Yep.
Because if they're not ready to hear what you have to share, then you feel like you don't want to get looked at a certain way, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that in a group, or you're able to share, be transparent with your group of friends?
My group of friends, to me, I can be biased. I think I got one of the best group of friends possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
We all grew up playing ball together. My closest friends all play ball. And we all kind of like made a pact at a young age, like, hey, we're all going D1. We all going D1. So my 5 to 6 closest friends, we were always on that trail anyways. And we always kept each other accountable. And we were all decent athletes, right? They definitely look at me in a certain light, and I hate it. I hate even when people give me praise.
What do you mean by that? Can you unpack that a little bit?
I'm the first to get married, have kids, I guess do it quote unquote the right way.
Okay.
And yeah, right. So they'll ask for advice, and I ask for advice from their perspective as well. But I've opened up about some of the feelings that I've had, and I guess the person that I am, it doesn't come off as being soft or sensitive, but they're just like, oh, you're a confident dude and you feel that way. Now I can speak about that. So I think it's just something, it's not always about the message. Sometimes it is about the messenger, right? Who's the one that's saying it? So if it's like you can trust this person and open up, they'll be more, quicker to, open up to you. And I think with my friends, we're very transparent with each other as far as like, hey, bro, you good? You straight? Like, what's going on? Always check in, group chat, what's going on? So I think my group of friends, we're very mature in that sense when it comes to having those type of conversations.
Your wife said something yesterday that really hit me because I thought she was talking to me. I thought she was talking to me when she said this.
Yeah.
She said, you have a hard heart.
Oh yeah. She swear I ain't got no heart in here.
You have a hard heart. What do you mean by that? Can you share a little bit by that? What does she mean by that? Because I look at you.
Yeah.
You're one of the nicest person I see.
Yeah.
So when she said that, I thought she was talking to me. I'm like, how did you know I have a hard heart?
Yeah.
So she looked at you. I'm like,
I don't think she meant it in the sense of
right. No, I know what she meant.
Yeah, she didn't mean it in the sense of like
you have no heart.
Yeah, you don't have no heart or you're an angry person.
Can you share?
It's more so like again, like being stoic and not showing emotion growing up.
Yeah.
Where it's like she ain't seen me cry, forever. She's like, do you cry? Like, so I think it's more so that. And then having daughters, she was like, I need you to be more vulnerable. Like, and I had to kind of relearn some of the bad, qualities and habits that I had. And so I could be a better father to my daughters and even to my son. So she always say that, like, oh, you ain't got no heart in there. Your heart is cold. I just think it's just because I'm very even keel. And I think just naturally, it doesn't matter. Even in football. Yeah, I'll get up, I'll talk mess, whatever. But it's like, I'm never too high, I'm never too low. Yeah. So people always think I'm always on, on just a steady vibe. And I think that's kind of where it comes from. Like, I need you to show more emotion, like from that sense.
And I think that is so powerful to share. And let's unpack this a little bit more.
Yeah.
About having a hard heart, because I was like that. I didn't want to show any emotions. If you cry, I'm like, why are you crying?
Yeah. Like, you're making me uncomfortable. Why you crying?
Wait. If someone falls down, I'm like, get up.
Yeah. Yep.
Shake it off.
Yep.
And I heard that. My wife would share that. You need to be more. What is the word?
Transparent.
Empathetic.
Oh yeah, empathetic.
Yeah. I'm like, what does that word mean?
Yeah. Have some more empathy, man.
Yeah. I'm like, what does that word mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like that. And a lot of us men have that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
A lot of us men, because we hide behind that mask, like, hey, I'm strong, so you got to be strong.
Yeah.
And sometimes we, like you said, talking about your daughter, you know, your babies, and I have a daughter, I catch myself too.
Yeah.
We cannot be like that. We have to find a way how to separate that. Like we talked earlier, the coaching life.
Yeah.
Then we don't have to be a coach at home.
Exactly.
We don't have to try to coach up our wife, coach up our kids. And I think that's what they mean. You have a hard heart.
Yeah, yeah.
Because my wife would tell me every time, you don't have to be captain here at home.
Yeah,
you can be dad. You don't have to be dad at home.
Yeah.
Did you ever get that?
No, I for sure did. It's crazy. One of my friends, shout out to Satterwhite, he was like, there's no such thing as a perfect parent. You're gonna mess up, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and I kind of that's been my brother for years, play football together, go up to college. And he's like, there's no such thing as a perfect parent.
Yeah.
And you're setting these expectations because, let me speak for myself. I'm setting these expectations because I didn't have a dad around. So I was thinking this is what a man should do and how they should act.
That's the key word right there. Expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
The expectation we have for everybody.
Yeah. So with me, I would, again, I'm overcorrecting. I'm trying to fix my father's sins in a sense, right? So I'm overcorrecting. I'm over like to my 6-year-old son, you need to do this, do that. I'm like, he don't care about that. It's just, show him love, give him the guidance, give him that grace to make mistakes, and he's gonna come back and ask for that, that advice when he needs it. But yeah, it's just like it's wearing different hats for me.
Yes,
working in the corporate world, then coaching, and then going home having to be dad. It's like I'm always altering hats, different places that I go. Sometimes it's hard to turn it off. So yeah, I'm still learning. It's a it's a day in and day out thing. So I'm still learning.
And that is such a great thing to do. Like he's saying, having that expectation, I had to change that.
Yeah, for sure.
This is my expectation. I need at my home. Things got to be like did.
Yeah.
If it's not like this, you guys are not doing your job.
Yeah.
The expectation as coaches, I expect you to be here. Do this play like this. If it's not there, you don't want it.
Come talk to me on the sideline real quick.
You don't want it. So I think that's one of the things too. I really had to change up a little bit. Yeah. And that's come from having a hard heart. Is the expectation. We cannot have that expectation. Everybody got to meet me right here. Expectations are good, but when it gets in between that, I allow myself to my family. If they didn't reach this, then you guys are not listening to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? You guys need to listen how I do things. And I found out that was very wrong. Yeah. To have that mindset.
Yeah. And I think I had to change my mindset as well, as far as there's no growth in being perfect, right? You grow in making mistakes and learning from your mistakes. So it's, again, giving them kids, your family, the grace to be like, you can mess up. And it's not the end of the world. We gonna learn. We learn from it. It's like watching film. Oh, you got burnt on this play. Let's watch film. Let's see how we get this rep better, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think it's just more so that where it's just like you don't gotta be perfect. Nobody's perfect, and that you're living up to an expectation that you'll never reach. So you're always gonna have that stress about like I'm not doing this, I'm not meeting this, and then now you're keeping in all that stress. Yeah. And you're
and it's all right here, and then boom.
Yeah, for sure. So you definitely got to change your expectations. And I just, the word for me is just grace. I've been telling myself that, and it's just like, even with myself, give yourself some grace. You're even like when she said, you don't have a heart. It's like you're entitled to your own emotions. And I'm so used to being, I'll feel something and I'll just discard it or dismiss it and be like, I can't feel that way. I ain't got time to feel that way. I ain't got time to be soft. I ain't got no time to, so it's like, I'm not even processing my own emotions. And then it comes out in a certain way. Right.
And we talk about emotions, and I heard something like that. It goes like this: it like your emotions heals you. Yeah. Your emotions will kill you.
For sure. Yeah.
And if we do not know how to channel those emotions, it will break you.
For sure. Yeah.
Because a lot of it, sometimes we get to sit back first, take a breath, take a deep breath before we react on those emotions.
Exactly.
Before somebody spill the water on the rug, don't just jump right away.
It's not the end of the world.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And sometimes that is our natural reaction. Like, what are you doing?
Man, I'll be having to check myself, man.
Hey, same. And I want to go back a little bit about the expectation, how we I had that from my family, my kids.
Mhm.
You know, so I had to really lower that expectation, so there's peace.
For sure.
If I
Exactly.
come home, the house is not clean, I'm okay. It's
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
Before me, because my family was that slipper looks crooked, the sheet on the couch is not made.
Yeah.
So that was my expectation, and I brought that into my marriage, and it messed me up.
Yep. And then you realize it gets to a point where you're just nitpicking at every little thing, and it's just
Exactly.
like, you know, you guys let things be. But yeah,
And then we learn like, okay, this is my own family. I'm gonna learn how to do that. So me, if I come home, the house doesn't have to be clean.
yep.
I'm okay. Even though I was working, I'm okay. There's no food, I'm okay.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because never know what my wife was going through at home. Never
For
know
sure.
what the kids are,
For
our
sure.
wives are going through. Never know what the kids with the kids.
Yeah.
That's a full-time job.
Full time, and they're going through their own lives with school and their own problems,
Yeah.
and knowing how to process their own emotions. And
So why we the one have to say, hey, make sure there's food when we come home. Make sure the house is
Yeah.
clean.
yeah,
You know, we don't get we get to reset real
Mhm.
quickly before we do that.
yep,
And that is so awesome. And that's something we still get to work on, having a hard heart.
for sure. Yeah.
You know, to be more soft. And you know, I learned it's okay to show emotions. For me,
Yeah.
it's okay to show emotion.
And just for your own health, you need to
Yeah.
show your emotions. Like I said, it's like I crashed for literally probably like 4 years ago. I just body crashed. I'm not processing stuff. I'm like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even know anything about anxiety. I'm like, why I feel this way? You
Yeah.
know?
What is anxiety?
Yeah, like so,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm in a safe place. I got a decent job. I got my family. I have my peace in my home. Why do I still feel this way? And it's your own expectations of yourself and what you want things to be. You're just you're not doing yourself a good service by doing that.
You know, thank you for sharing that. And having a great circle, have great people around you.
Yeah,
And we always hear this saying, surround yourself with great people, right? But I want to twist that up a little bit, because you can surround yourself around anybody. This is how I feel. This is my own opinion.
Mhm.
I can surround myself around anybody. As long as I'm good, I'm strong, I know who I am and what I represent,
Mhm.
that energy, that aura, they're going to feel it.
for sure. Yeah,
Even though they're not in that same space wherever you're at or wherever you're at,
Mhm.
they're gonna recognize that.
Yep.
They're gonna like, oh, he's here.
yeah,
He's hey, let's you know what I mean?
yeah. People are gonna naturally gravitate towards you. And
Yeah.
I feel like people are wanting that authenticity, where it's like they want you to be real, they want you to be transparent, and they're gonna gravitate towards you because
Yeah.
they can respect that and appreciate that. It's like you're not looking at somebody and this person trying to be perfect all the time. A lot of people don't like that.
Yeah.
It's like, what is that? That guy's kind of
Yeah.
arrogant. That guy, big headed about himself. I think especially in today's age, it's like we gotta get back to being vulnerable and saying like, hey, I messed up here. I'm trying to be
Yeah.
better here. And you don't know, having that conversation or you saying that, what opens up the door of conversation for that
Amen.
next person.
Yeah. And you know, that's so awesome, because I do have great friends. You know, we both have great friends and great people. Everyone is different in their own, wherever they're at in their own life.
Yeah.
But the main thing is we trying to heal and process everything and reset and rebuild and reconnect every day. We stay true and authentic to what we do, because like you said, everybody will feel your energy.
Yes. Yeah.
And everybody's gonna wonder, oh, what are you doing?
Mhm.
What are you doing differently?
Mhm. Or I want to be a part of it. Whatever you got going, I just want to be a part of it. I want to be around you.
Yeah.
There's just a good energy around you. Yeah.
And that is so important
Mhm.
too, brother. And about that, and see,
He want to be around. Yeah.
See? He wants to be around us. Okay, we hear you. We hear you.
Yes, sir.
You know, that's so important about the. Thank you for sharing that about the African American
Mhm.
community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in a poly community, same.
Same. Yeah.
And
And like I said yesterday, it's we're a lot more similar than we are different.
Very,
When
very
I first came
similar.
around Trisha, my mom was like, man, her family just like ours. Loud, talking mess, having fun, loving on each other, eating, cooking.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? So when people get so caught up in being like, this person is this race, this person is this culture, it's just like, bro, like we're a lot more similar than we are
We're
different.
very, very,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
similar. We all have our own struggle, maybe same struggles,
Yeah,
and we all can go through it.
for sure.
You know, brother, I have another question. I have a few more questions.
Mhm.
Thank you for the question.
Questionnaire.
What would you say to your young self
Mm.
coming out of high school? What advice, as you look back during your youth time or growing up, what advice would you give your young self coming out of high school?
Huh. It's a good question. Uh, I would just say, be more confident. Believe in what you're doing is the right thing, and
Mm.
people aren't just saying you're doing great for no reason. 'Cause to me, it's just me personally. I'm so cynical and pessimistic about everything. It's like somebody can say something good. I'm just already thinking about the negative. I go into certain places. I'm already thinking what can go wrong.
Okay, we're gonna stop right there.
Okay.
Why is that? Let's unpack that a little bit. Why you feel like that?
I don't know, honestly. Maybe
Yeah.
it's just it could be the expectation that I had maybe for parents being around. So it's like
Mm.
something. All right, I'll say it like this. You have a hard lesson of like, oh, this person doesn't show up for you. Everybody's gonna do that. And now you think the world is like that, right?
Yeah.
So you kind of just shield everybody off. You always think the worst in every situation. Not healthy at all. I'm not, I don't advocate for having those type of feelings, but
Mhm.
maybe it was a defense mechanism. I don't know. Just growing up, it's just kind of, I've seen the bad happen to my friends. Like, why did that happen to them and not me?
Right.
I mean, we're in the same neighborhood, same
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Why did that happen? And I think the term is called like survivor's remorse or something, where it's just like people around you, stuff is happening, you're just like, why doesn't that happen to me? Why am I the person that's like gets to do this? Or like,
I feel like that too.
yeah.
Sometimes.
So I just
I
think
feel like that too.
and I'm trying to change my like my negative type of thinking. But I think if I had to say it probably was a defense mechanism, if I'm being honest. But if I had to tell myself, younger self, it'd be just be confident, believe in yourself, even when stuff is bad. Like just believe in yourself, and also just take the good criticisms that people give you.
See, I was gonna go there.
Yeah.
That would be my next question. Why is it hard for you to take what is that? Criticism or
Admiration.
Compliments.
Compliments.
Well, why is it hard for you? Because we talked about that. Why is it hard for you to take compliments?
I honestly have no clue, and I always deflect. It could be somebody
deflect.
Yeah, it's like people be like, "Oh, you did a good job." Like, no, you did good. It's like literally just a natural.
You look good.
Yeah, no, it's like, no, you look good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, honestly. It's
And I think, like you said earlier, is giving ourselves grace.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's almost like you feel shame when somebody gives you a compliment.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe because we never hear it enough, or maybe that's something we just don't do in our culture, or we don't do enough in our culture. Because I feel like that.
Yeah.
Polynesian people sometimes it's hard to give somebody else a compliment.
Yeah.
But you know what? We can give it to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a lot easier to do it that way, right? It's like, don't tell me about me. I can tell you, I can compliment you. But
I think for us men, general, is we gotta accept that. Allow ourselves to, to feel that, okay, I am worthy.
Yeah, you're doing good, Dad. You're doing good, Pop. You're doing good. Yeah.
Okay, I believe what you're saying.
Yeah.
And we gotta accept it. Sometimes I feel like you're trying to be nice. You're trying to, what do you need from me? What are you trying to get from me?
Man, I think that's the one.
Yeah.
It's like, what's your motive?
What's your angle?
Yeah, what are you trying to do?
Yeah.
And like I said, it's not a healthy way of living, but I just been in some situations where I'm always just looking like, what's really going on? What's really the motive? So I'm definitely trying to relearn some of those habits. And again, I see with my own kids where it's just like they're the better parts of me, right? And it's just like I try to instill the pieces that I was missing from maybe a parent, and just being confident, believe in yourself, and you are great, and you deserve to be great, and you are worthy, right? So
because it's hard for us. I don't remember hard for us growing up. We don't really hear that, and my wife has to remind me: speak to your daughter as your daughter. Tell her she's beautiful.
Uplift her. Uplift her. Yeah.
Uplift her.
Yes.
Don't just say, "Oh, you look good," or "That looks good on you."
Yeah. Yep.
Because guarantee we're gonna do that to our own husband or wife.
Exactly.
Instead of being more, I've learned to be more change the way how you say it, your delivery.
Yeah,
Change
yeah,
the delivery,
yeah.
but the delivery is everything.
And specifically with daughters, you know, your dad is gonna be the first man that you love.
Yeah.
So you got to be that example of what real love looks like,
Mm.
and how to reciprocate love, and what a healthy family looks like, and what to, you know, what to stand for and what not to stand for. You're right.
Yeah.
You know, don't take certain disrespect. You know, you got it,
Yeah.
and that comes from the dad instilling like, hey, you deserve this. You
Yeah.
deserve the world. You are beautiful. You are confident. It's nothing
You're
else.
so right. And also with that, we get to accept that for ourselves too.
Yeah, yeah,
We gotta allow our daughters to see that, our kids to see that, okay, my dad does love him or accept compliments.
yeah,
And we get to be more, open up our heart more, yeah,
yeah,
and give it right back.
yeah.
Give it right back to
I know
them.
for me personally, it's like it's easy for me to deflect and dismiss like compliments. I'll just like either I'm gonna just dismiss it or I'm gonna joke about it. I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to make it not serious because it's like for whatever reason, maybe it's just processing like a real emotion. I think it might
Yeah.
be that where it's just like I don't want to hear like the real or how you really
Yeah.
feel about it. Maybe that goes back to me
Yeah.
like with the whole emotion thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
And you know, this goes for other men out there. You know, it's okay to accept compliments because it's something we got to get used to.
Mm.
You know, as boys, we go, "Oh, you look good. Oh, you look good. You look good."
Yeah,
You know,
I'm
we're
trying
good.
to get like you.
You know,
like,
yeah, we're trying to get like you.
Yeah, yeah.
But sometimes
Yeah.
I've learned this. Sometimes accept the blessing.
Yeah. And take it and process
You know what I
it.
mean?
Yeah.
Accept the blessing.
Yeah.
Because that person is giving you, then after that we can give that back sincerely, like, hey,
Yeah.
I appreciate that, thank you, I received that,
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Mhm.
You know what, you're doing amazing too.
Mm-hmm.
So all men out there, know that you're worthy, accept it, earn it, you earned it, and just own it.
Yeah,
Own
for
it.
sure. Yeah.
And that way we can turn that around and give it right back to others that who needs it,
Mhm.
or the kids you're working with, kids y'all working with, your personal kids, and we'll just go from there.
Mhm.
You know, brother, I'd like to ask this last question before we close it down. This has just been amazing, and I thank you for taking this
So
time
good,
and,
Unc. I appreciate it,
and
Unc.
sharing this space with you, nephew.
Yes, sir.
You know, I go by these 3 R's: reset, rebuild, reconnect.
Mhm.
What in a point of your life that you had to do this to, like, I feel like I have to reset in this, rebuild in this, reconnect in this, you know?
I would say probably my late 20s, early 30s. And I started kind of feeling like the stress of the real world, right? Like 20s is a weird age, especially being an athlete. I'm gonna backtrack a little bit, especially being an athlete. If you're an athlete your whole life, you've been coddled, you've been taken care of, especially if you're
Yeah.
a good athlete.
Amen.
So it's hard to reinvent yourself
Yeah.
when ball is over. So you got to figure out what you actually like, what you're good at, and
You're
who
on
you
that
are.
high. You're
Yeah,
on that
right,
high.
right. So as an athlete, you know, leaving college, I'm like, okay, damn, I gotta go back into the workforce. All right. So what career do I want to do? And obviously you want to, you know, be something that's maybe around your major. Sometimes that doesn't work out that way.
Mm.
But I know during my late 20s, I felt like I was going through the motions, not necessarily living with the full purpose, or how I like to say is living under your greatness, right? It's just like you're living under your, like, you have the potential, you got to just break that ceiling. Break that ceiling, get through, live above it, right? Stop living under your greatness. But I think my 30s where I'm like, okay, I have my, you know, low C at the time, might have been like 4. Then I'm having Nia coming on a couple of years later. I just feel like it was like the real world stress of like, all right, now I gotta make sure we have money in the bank. I gotta make sure the house is straight. I gotta make sure my daughter's protected. I gotta make sure. And I think that's kind of where I started. I hit a wall. But yeah, I kind of, yeah.
Man, thank you for sharing that. And I'm sure we all get to learn from a message today, and that is amazing, because fatherhood is, you know, we get to reset.
Yeah, yeah.
We get to rebuild ourselves.
You need to.
And we get to rebuild with the higher power, because that's where all the energy, the glory, the healing comes from, is because that is something I had to do also too.
Yeah.
In my life. So, you know, thank you, nephew, for sharing this space with us.
It's all good.
You know, this is the Get Done podcast. You know, there was a lot of healing right here, man.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no, for real.
There was a lot of healing right here.
Yeah.
Powerful message. If you like